interests and issues together the best that I know 'em. I'm not, an expert on all corners of the county, so it may be that I'm off target a little bit in areas. I want to start, though, with District 5, which is the center. And this is a District 4, which was I think one of the largest. We had to move people in, and you'll see that District 5 is having people included. This is the old Orlando, Orange County area. These communities and neighborhoods are, a lot of them, 40-plus years old, and it's now an urban area primarily. It follows the Orange Avenue corridor, and this district, what I see in the future is it's redevelopment, not development focused. There's really not much land out there left to be developed. Another thing in this district, Sunrail Phase 1 is located in this district, so from the county line up north down to Sand Lake Road Beach Line is where the first phase of the stations will be. You'll also notice that in here, District 5, there's many lakes with the associated problems that have occurred due to urban growth from the last 50 years in this district. And many of the residents have voted to tax themselves through the MSTU taxing instrument, I guess, to address these unique problems. And you'll also notice, or maybe you won't, but the population for this district is a little larger than the target. It's still within the criteria, but I made it that way because I really expect in the future that we'll have less growth in this area as compared to other areas of this district because it is pretty much built up. It'll be redeveloped. Moving on, District 3. This is a community of neighborhoods that are a mixture of urban and older suburban neighborhoods. I would say probably most are not, they're not as old for the most part as District 5, and I grew up here from 1960, so I do remember way back there some of them. So these are older, but not as old as in District 5. It follows the Cimarron Boulevard corridor quite a bit, and I would see that you're going to have redevelopment, but also maybe some development in the more eastern area of this district. So I'd expect to see some growth here. District 4, which east Orange County and then the south of the beach line to OBT, these are communities and neighborhoods that are suburban and rural areas. You've got your Avalon Park, your Waterford Lakes, then the Medical Center, Lake Nona, Lake Hart. You've got your rural Bithlo, Christmas, and Wedgefield. And I think this part of the county, the focus is going to be development in the future. So it's different from these other two that I've talked about. This area is a little under target, but I expect that you're going to have a lot of growth in this area, so there's a little room to grow in this future, in this particular district, the way that I've drawn it. Now, for heading west, District 6, its communities and neighborhoods of mixture of urban and also older suburban neighborhoods, also has history to it. It's the core of the black communities in Orange County. And as we needed to work to maintain the black majority voting population for this district. Also, I believe this is probably a district that's going to be focusing on redevelopment as opposed to development. This one also, the population's a little bit larger than target, but again, I don't expect there to be as much growth as in some of the others. There's just not a lot of open land left for developing. Then moving to District 2, this district, and I do appreciate the people living here, let me speak here. Northwest Orange County, a rural agricultural area, and I would expect some growth in the future here. Probably not as much as maybe District 4, but you definitely have the room to grow. And if, I guess, sale of land away from the agriculture would be happening, then you would have some more growth. District 1, southwest Orange County, new suburbs, and also still some rural area. We've seen a lot of growth in this area in the past and expect more in the future. If you look at it, this area also has a lot of lakes in it, but the difference between it and I would say District 5 is this one, because it's a lot of new growth, additional growth, along with knowledge about our lakes and how to protect them, can be addressed together, where the old District 5, we've had to figure out what can we do because we've kind of messed them up. We didn't know we did it, and we got to fix them. So those are kind of my rationales for how I divided this county up and why I did what I did. And let me just make a general comment. I know that there are no perfect maps and that these maps will not be acceptable to everybody. I have tried to listen and incorporate what I've learned at these meetings into here. But because I'm not familiar with all corners of this county, nor with every community, nor with every city limits, I know that this map will need some fine-tuning, especially in areas that I'm not as familiar with. I'm District 4, but I really live now in my map in District 5, so I know the old Orlando, but I don't know these areas up here as much. I do feel that the public input is critical right now and in the future to help you guys do the fine-tuning on the things that they don't know, just like the areas I don't know. And with that, I'll finish and wrap it up. And I do thank you for listening to me and letting me talk about this proposal. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you, Ms. McCurry, and we really appreciate you taking the time to work with my district builder and work with our staff to get this proposal prepared and submitted. Questions for Ms. McCurry, rather?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Hi. When you put together District 4, it looks to me like most of the growth in the county is going to be in 4.
That's, I mean, not being in developing, not being a developer, but just what I've heard over the years, medical center area, that open land more
Right.
east.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I just think that you gave them too much land, and I wonder when you made your decision how to cut this, if you took that into consideration.
Well, I was looking at population, and it is a little lower. This one has the least.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I noticed.
To add, and I tried to make it, roads, make it kind of straight lines, but it's not totally. Plus, I do believe District Builder isn't quite like this one, and I couldn't move roads, so it was a little different. But I think, and I developed it thinking that this area may be where more of the growth is. And I think those issues for growth are different than issues that are redevelopment. That an old part of this county is going to have different issues than open land and new development. And so for a commissioner to have to deal with a lot of balls in the air, I think is a little more difficult than dealing with an area where they're all kind of similar issues, and you can focus and develop expertise maybe in a region of redevelopment issues and then another area where it's mostly going to be development. So that's kind of my rationale.
Okay. Other questions from members of the committee? Okay, thank you very much. Based on a decision by this committee previously, we don't have to take action on this proposal. It is all public proposals will be accepted, and so this will be accepted as public proposal C. And we do have a few speakers cards on this proposal, but before we bring up those speakers, I also wanted to recognize the mayor of Maitland, Mayor Schieferdecker, who's with us this evening. Thank you very much for coming. And our first speaker on public proposal C will be Debbie Goodwin.